What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bengals Stripe Show, presented to you by the Love of Ball Network and brought to you by your hosts, Braden and Gavin. Week 2 is in the books, 0-2. Not great, not great. A little different setup for me. I've got the headset on. I'm at home. Um, but you know what? We're gonna make it work. We want to talk about some Cincinnati football.
Yeah, it's this is awesome. I mean, for me at least, it was cool to see um the upgrade from week 1 to week 2.
Absolutely.
Usually it's week 1 and week 2 look equivalently bad, and then week 3 we kind of turn on a little bit, and then obviously we progress. But it felt like we took a massive jump from week 1 to week 2, and I can tell you there's a lot of urgency from the guys in the locker room.
Absolutely. Let's look at some stats of the game. So, final score being 25-26 Chiefs. Joe Burrow 23 for 36, 258 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 6 carries with 9 rushing yards, was sacked 3 times. Our leading receiver in terms of yards, do you have a guess who our leading receiver was for yards?
Was it Gasecki?
It was Gesicki. 7 receptions, 91
Hey!
yards. Jamar had 35 yards. Zach Moss 47 yards on 12 carries. Um, Jermaine Burton had that deep ball. That one really good deep ball.
Was it
And then
one
on
for 47
defense,
for him? One
yep,
for
one for
47?
47. And on defense, Jermaine Pratt 16 tackles in this game.
Yeah.
The second highest PFF run grade in the entire NFL for week 2. Do you know who he's tied with?
Who is he tied with?
He's tied with his teammate, Logan Wilson. Both of them are
Really?
tied for the second highest run stopping grade because our D line couldn't stop the run for shit, so it was up to our linebackers.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that. God.
Yeah, I think they're also second, both tied second in the NFL for total tackles. So
Yeah, I want to see more out of that, man. I'm enjoying this. Lawrence Guy is going to be a guy for us, and he's going to help us out for sure.
I hope so. Yeah, we need interior. We don't even need interior pressure. Trey won 40% of his reps last game. Sam won, I want to say 28% of his reps. We just need a guy to stop the fucking run. We can do everything else fantastic. I mean, I really, other than that CTB burn, when Rashee Rice burned him, but you just froze him at the release of the route, which happens. Um, our secondary played phenomenal. We were really sticking to the guy, Xavier Worthy, who's just speed, got 2 catches for 22 yards. Um, Erasure Rice only had that 1 catch for 40 yards. Travis Kelce had 1 catch for about 30 yards. Other than that, it was just Pacheco on the ground, which he's out 6 to 8 weeks. So, it sucks. But we just need to figure out how to stop the run, and I think we are a dangerous, dangerous football team.
Yeah, I think Lawrence Guy is going to help us out, and I think Chris Jenkins coming back hopefully this week. We'll see how that progresses.
Yeah,
Amarius Mims probably coming back this week. See how that progresses. But a guy that I don't even know. Like I feel like he just was there, kind of like in training camp, but then like wasn't there as well. Like McKinley Jackson. Like
yeah,
who knows anything about him? Is he going to be a good run stopper? I can't
I hope
remember.
so.
Because like Chris Jenkins was supposed to be this elite run stopper, but in the preseason it looked like he was a better pass rusher. So
Um, in all honesty, what I think that was is he was playing against worse offensive linemen, so he was winning his reps a lot more, getting in the backfield more. You know what I mean? Because he's a
yeah,
quick run stopper. He's a fast dude for being a run stopper. McKinley Jackson's your typical nose tackle. Sit there in the box and just no one's getting past him. Well, that's the hope at least. So I hope we see more of that once he comes off IR. I hope Lawrence Guy, his big white presence in the middle right there can just really just shove some defenses back. On the bright side, we're not playing a very scary run heavy team
yeah,
next week. So
yeah. Jaden Daniels is kind of scares me a little bit, but I feel like that's more of like
that's
not
an edge
interior.
thing.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
It's more contained right there.
Yeah. Which I think we do really well. Trey, what I noticed with Trey like I said, winning 40% of his reps. The other 60% he's being in the chokehold, being held. Um, what I noticed with Trey is that he kind of has the Nick Bosa effect in the Super Bowl. And what I mean by that is that he is so dominant on these pass rushes. He's getting by so quick that the quarterback's just stepping up in the pocket because he gets there so quick. And what he does is he's right here on the edge going around. He beats him. The quarterback just steps up. And he missed probably what, 6 sacks? Because he got a hand on him, but he wasn't actually
Yeah.
there to make the sack.
I know it's extremely frustrating for him, but it's frustrating for Bengals fans to know that they're like there's the and this comes back to the interior pressure thing. There is just a way for him to step up because there's no pressure in the middle, and he doesn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, Sheldon Rankins is going to break through and tackle me if I step up in the pocket. So there's no worry about that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um, and it's kind of it's a struggle. It's a struggle for Trey, and I know it's probably frustrating for him because he's like, help me, please. I just
yeah,
need to. Because if you think about it, his career high in sacks was when B.J. Hill was just wrecking plays up the middle. DJ Reader was wrecking plays up the middle, and he was just able to win free off the edge. Um, I think we're trying to figure it out. I think we're trying to figure out
yeah.
a way for him to get some more sacks. Our defense looked I want to say different. I want to say I feel
Yeah.
like we played
Yeah.
different coverages. I think Tony Romo even talked about that a little bit. I think he said that this defense usually doesn't play Tampa 2, and they got a Tampa 2, and Akeem Davis Gaither had his Lynn Sanity run.
Yeah, he did. Absolute amazing. He was the one who got the interception, didn't he?
Yeah,
The
he
one
got
of two interceptions. Yeah.
yeah, he had an interception, a few
He was
tackles.
completely hidden. He running that Tampa 2. What I'm gonna break it down a little bit. What that kind of does is disguises kind of the middle. It covers the middle really well, but it's hard to see the disguise of the middle. And obviously, like you've said, we don't run that. We run a lot of we like running a lot of cover one. We run a lot of nickel. We run a lot of 4-3 or yeah, 4-3. Um and what kind of running that did was confuse Patrick. He's not used to having a linebacker lurking. It looked like Akeem was going this way, comes back is immediately back to the middle. And I love that play. I mean, he was hyped. He was ready. I mean, how did he do this game? Akeem Davis Gaither had 3 tackles and the interception and a pass deflection. So he was just in the lanes. He was just getting there. And I love what our defense looks like. I think Zach running that kind of defense allows for a lot smoother rotations. It's a lot less. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a Tampa 2, and like this would be Akeem Davis Gaither. Um, and this would be Logan and Jermaine. But yeah, he was just kind of chilling over here. And then obviously the Patrick Mahomes thing is that he's just going to force the ball to Travis Kelce because when you get the ball in Travis Kelce's hands, he's going to do special things. And then, not to knock Patrick Mahomes, but I feel like that's what makes Patrick Mahomes Patrick Mahomes is when he can get balls to playmakers
Yeah,
and get some good rack gain out of it. Um, and he wasn't able to do that. So he was just trying to get the ball to somebody to get some rack because the Bengals were pretty much taking away everything up the field, and it was essentially everything was just a behind the line of scrimmage. But that's just something I just want to give people a visual on.
I will say this is one of the times I wish the Bengals were a trigger happy team when it came to trades or a proactive team.
Yeah,
Because a team like the Giants right now they're going for number one pick. They're selling their good players. Me personally, I would give up this year's first and second for Dexter Lawrence in New York. I would do
really.
that. I would do that in a heartbeat. He solves He is an elite run stopper on a shitty team that needs picks.
I would
And
I would honestly just I'd honestly offer up somebody like I don't even know like God shoot I'd offer up somebody like Mike Hilton even though I don't want to see him
maybe
go.
that's the T trade. Maybe we trade T in a second for Dexter Lawrence.
I don't know. I feel like a T for Sexy Dexy is a fair trade. Maybe we get the second. I don't know
Hey,
because
maybe
NFL trades are weird. Because then, like,
they
if you
are
go to
weird.
like Madden trades, it's like you have to give her up like your mortgage and stuff for a random player, and then in NFL, it's like, well,
Brian
what's this?
Burns for a fourth.
Yeah, Brian. That's what I first thought of when this whole Dexter Lawrence thing came about. I was like, well, Brian Burns got traded for a fourth, and originally they were asking for a first. So I mean it kind of makes you think that like once teams get kind of fed up with it, they're just kind of fed up with it and they're done.
So yeah, I would overpay for Dexter Lawrence right now because this is our window year. This is the year we have the best shot. If everyone is healthy, and I think that solves such a big hole because if we can generate pressure in the middle and stop the run, what are teams' formulas for beating us? They can't throw over top. We have excellent secondary communication to where everything's really covered. We may not have the extreme talent, but it reminds me a little bit of the 2001 Patriots, to where it was such a cohesive group. Not of a bunch of stars, a couple stars, sure, but not of the star-studded defense, but everyone worked together as a group. The most important piece of our defense is Von Bell, who isn't some Pro Bowler, All-Pro guy, but he's vocal and he leads the defense, and I love that about our defense.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's one more thing I want to share on the screen here, and it kind of shows what I was talking about earlier. Which is it's a cool chart to see. I always look at these. So this would be Patrick Mahomes' interception to Akeem Davis Gaither, where he tried to force it, and this would be Cam Taylor Britt's interception. Obviously, this is where Cam Taylor Britt got beat by Rasheed
Loss.
Rice.
You beat, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, look at all of his completions. So these green dots right here are completions. So he had one completion for 15 yards, one for 5, one for 5, and one for like 3. So look at that. Most of his completions, most of his 18 completions were
Checkdowns.
checkdowns. Think about that. Think how good that is for the Bengals secondary that they're keeping it away from the um keeping it away from the 20, 30, 40 plus yard gains and keeping it behind the line of scrimmage, and that almost makes you think that they were probably trying to attack the tackling of the Bengals, realizing that that was probably an outlier, that the Bengals are usually a good tackling team.
Yeah. Yeah, week one we didn't tackle very well at all. We couldn't do anything week one. It's just how week ones are, and I'm sick of it really. But it's okay. Um, I don't want to talk about that last play yet. But we will talk about it. But there's one thing I kind of wanted to go about with the interior of this defensive line and how I feel like I genuinely don't understand how we generate and not generating pressure isn't as big as a problem as it is with run stopping. I feel like any offensive line is able to carve a hole through our defensive. We just get pushed back, and it's so frustrating to watch because every single run's going for 6, 7, 8 yards, and that's what causes the Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt tackles, which is always great. But I want our big boys up front and getting those tackles. I want to stop the run. The most excited you can be is when it's 2nd and 8 and you get a TFL. And now it's 3rd and 13. Like I miss that from when we had DJ Reader.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sitting here looking at the Tampa Bay versus Detroit game, and you know who the best rushing player was for the Buccaneers against the Lions and DJ Reader? Baker Mayfield
Uh, really?
for five carries for 34 yards.
Whew, yeah, that's terrible.
So does that
If
show
that's their leading
you?
rusher.
Does that show you how good DJ Reader is, and that we probably
And
should have kept him?
and he's only playing 52% of snaps over in Detroit right now, still nursing off that injury. Yeah, it's frustrating seeing these guys walk. I'm looking at early 2025 mock drafts for the Bengals next year, and guess what position almost all of them have us taking?
28, I think is what it said.
What'd you say?
28.
It is 28, but guess what position like on the football field?
Oh, God. Does it have us taking receivers?
It does not have us taking a receiver.
Every time I do a mock draft for the 2025 thing, I take Mason Graham out of Michigan.
Is that the tight end?
No, he's a
Or is that
defensive
the
lineman.
defense? So yeah, they have us taking Loveland, the Michigan tight end.
I don't
Every
like
single one
that.
I've seen have us taking a tight end, but our tight ends are good. Like Eric All is so fucking good.
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh.
I'm really passionate about this game. I will say, okay, I want to preface 15 minutes in. I loved this game. I know we lost. It was a terrible ending. It was a rookie mistake. It happens. Okay, you just got to keep moving forward. We were the better team. We were the better team than the back-to-back world champions. That is the team to beat. Okay. I loved what
Mhm.
we saw out of our offensive line. I love what we saw from Joe. Still seems a little shaky throwing those deep balls until he threw it to Jermaine Burton perfectly. A little underthrown, a little bit, but he has the receivers that can do that and make it work. But what I want to say is I loved what I saw. Everything here showed an improvement, and if we can play like this every week, I don't see a reason why we don't go far into the playoffs. And back to what I was saying with the draft, I want us to take a defensive lineman or a corner. But Eric All is so good. He's such an amazing route runner. He's a very, very good blocker, and he's our tight end for the future.
Yeah, I honestly want them to extend Gasecki already.
I do too. He's
Uh,
awesome.
I think not only is he just a fantastic receiving tight end for Joe Burrow, but I just think he's from a fan perspective, I just love him. I just love
Yeah,
his what he brings to the Bengals locker room is a breath of fresh air. It feels like with CJ Uzama, that was probably a top tier kind of guy to have in a locker room. Hayden
absolutely.
Hurst was pretty good. Irv Smith was
Oh, Hayden Hurst.
Irv Smith
You
pissed
know
me
who he's on
off.
now? You know what team he's on now?
Who's is he on the Browns?
He's in Cleveland.
Yeah, I hate him. No, respectfully though, I loved Irv when we first got him, but it almost felt like he was I don't know. He gave me a weird vibe. Did he give you a weird
Yeah,
vibe?
yeah. It felt like a project that was guaranteed. It felt like a project that you're with the kids that don't do anything in class. Like you had something to do, but you knew it would go wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, like his one highlight. Like he went from starting at the beginning of the year to the at the end of the year was like I think at one point he was a healthy scratch.
Yeah,
So
which is what he when we because we was that when we made the playoffs? Was that
that
or
would have
was that
been that was God. When
that
was
was
who?
last year, right? Was that last year?
God, who was when was Irv with it? I feel like it was last year. I feel like God, was
I
he on the
feel like it
team
was
last
last,
year?
but
Yeah, it was
I
last year. It
also
was last year.
okay, yeah, because I remember him being for that Chiefs game, one of the most important games of that season, didn't play a single snap. And I couldn't remember if it was in the playoffs or not. But yeah, it makes sense last year for Jake Browning and company. But overall takeaways, the Chiefs, Carson Steele, he's just a Pacheco, just duplicate. He runs with his head down, powers through. He did fumble, but I think he's going to learn from that. I picked him up in fantasy. I will say waiver wire ad.
Really?
I did.
I picked up
Because
Yoshi in fantasy.
I did too. He's on my bench. He's an
Yeah.
elite. Talk to me about him.
Yeah, so what I saw to Yoshi and why I picked him up honestly for fantasy is because it looks like he's not going to be a huge asset when it comes to yards. But when we get in the red zone, man, he's always fine. And oh my God, Tony Romo. I mean, it was like the first time I ever heard him like glaze the Bengals. It was
Yeah,
his route in the end. I mean, it was just beautiful. I mean, he made that
yeah,
guy look lost. It made him like look like Dora. Like, where's the map? I mean, that guy was
and
gone.
it was a perfect throw as well from Joe. Joe's delivering beautiful throws again. I'm not worried about it at all. I remember that doctor who said he'd never be the same after his wrist
Yeah,
injury. Remember
that
that?
Twitter doctor. If you're that Twitter doctor, send me a text, please. I'd love to send you some videos of Joe Burrow lighting it up. And he did say it was the best. Did you notice that Joe Burrow looked like he was going to cry in the post game interview?
Yeah, he really cares, dude. Like that I love that. I love it.
Yeah, like he knows he put his all into that game. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you could say, what if Evan made that field goal? What if DeJohn was just a second later? What
What
if
if Jamar stopped talking to the ref? What if Chris Jenkins was healthy? What if we got called for holding on every play like we should have?
Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs with this game, but guess what? It doesn't matter because we're 0 2. And guess what? We play Washington this week. Next week, I guess. Kind of. I don't know. We play Washington this week, I guess. Um, and we need to move on. So
Yeah.
that's the message from the locker room right now, I feel like, is guess what? We're 0 2. This sucks. We did not want to be here. That's why we played in the preseason. That's why we had two together. You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Joint practices. That's
Yep.
why we had a full camp. That's why we had all this stuff, and we're still 0 2. So there's something else going on, which is fine. But we just need to realize that this is going to have to be the rest of the season. And then when we see them in the playoffs, we know what they're going to do. And if we can
Yep,
have some decent run stoppers, my God, I think we can beat the Chiefs easy.
easy. And here's the thing. We're 0-2. But you know who else is 0-2? Baltimore. And Baltimore, I think, is the biggest threat to win the division. The Steelers and the Browns are both going to crumble. They're not legit. They can't score touchdowns. The Steelers have scored one touchdown all season, and they're 2-0. But here's the thing. Baltimore's next 3 games. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Cowboys,
Okay.
Eagles, Bengals at Cincinnati.
No, they're
Our
cooked.
next 3 games, not counting Washington. Well, I'll do our next 4. Washington, Carolina, Ravens at Cincinnati, and then it's the Giants. So I love our next 4 games, and I hate their next 3 games. I'm not necessarily worried about the Steelers or Browns because what was it? The Browns that have the brutal end of schedule, the 6 AFC North games as their final 6 games, and then they also throw in the Chiefs and the Eagles, and to make it 8.
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I think we could come out of this 3-3 is what I'm sitting here thinking. 3 and
Yeah.
3 is where we could come out of this, and that's if we don't win against the Ravens. We could easily come out of this 4-3. Who do we
Yep.
play after that? My
We play
apologies.
Vegas, and then so that would be week 7. Week 7's Vegas. Week 8's Philadelphia. Week 9 might be Steelers. Yeah,
Okay.
week 9 Steelers. This is just off the top of my head.
Okay, so then we go because then we go Giants, Browns, Eagles, Raiders. Okay, so
Okay,
I feel like the only issue we're going to have is the Browns because for whatever reason, can't
can't
beat
win
the
in
Browns.
Cleveland. But
Can't win in Cleveland.
here's the thing. Deshaun Watson is their quarterback,
Ow,
so I have
sorry.
hope. I have hope. With Deshaun Watson slinging the ball, it's a free for all. That's my saying.
Yeah, with Sean Watson slinging the ball, it's massage for all. You know what I mean?
I hate you, Deshaun Watson. But anyway, what I'm looking forward to for this Washington game. Do you want to go ahead and get into that?
Yeah, let's talk about that. And then we'll circle back to the final play because that's obviously important to talk
Yeah.
about. But it's a hurt on the soul. So let's just talk about something positive.
So
I think we have a new identity a little bit.
yeah,
From this Chiefs game to come into this Washington game. Yeah, we can run the ball ish.
Zach Moss is good. Zach Moss is good. He's a lot better than I thought he'd be.
2.4 yards per carry. I think it was just because Chris Jones is up the middle and it's just whatever.
That's just how it is.
It's just how it is. Can't really do much against the Chiefs' defensive line. But our new identity is the tight ends. So without T, there's no T. So what are
he should be
defenses going to
returning
do?
this week.
Yeah.
He should be returning.
So without T, what's going to happen? Well, they're just going to give all the attention to Jamar and say, go find somebody else. There's no Tyler Boyd. There's no Joe Mixon. We don't have any big name players. Outside of Cincinnati, nobody knows Chase Brown yet. Nobody knows Zach. People know Zach Moss, but people don't really know the extent of how good Zach Moss is.
Yep.
People don't really. I mean, Tony Romo barely knew who Andre Yosivas was, and he was just like, "Oh, this guy surprised me." So we have a new identity to say, okay, well, if you're going to take care of Jamar, that's fine. Take care of Jamar. Like, we'll feed him on our 6-yard ends, and we'll make you tackle him because he's hard to tackle in a phone booth.
Yeah.
And we'll just throw it to the tight ends all game, and we'll let you try and tackle 6'6" Mike Gesicki. How about you have fun with that?
6'4" Eric Hall. So, I've noticed this both games we've played, how the defenses are covering Jamar Chase. They will have their best corner, whether it be Trent McDuffie, Christian Gonzalez, press cover Jamar on the line, and will stick to him in man most of the time. Obviously, it's not the whole game. But what I noticed a lot, they'll stick to him in man within 10 yards. As soon as he gets that 10 yards, safety, double team. And he's being double teamed when he's anywhere past 10 yards. Sometimes they'll run a hybrid. They'll run like a zone man kind of hybrid, have a guy lurking over the middle, have a cover 2 type, to where they'll have that safety help, but also have a guy over the middle just in case the guy on him gets lost. So he's getting that star receiver treatment. And once we get T back, you won't see that as much. Because if you send a safety help to Jamar, T. Higgins is on a one-on-one. 6'5" T. Higgins is on a one-on-one. 6'5" T. Higgins, the best jump ball receiver in the NFL right now, in my opinion, is on a one-on-one. Okay, so once T's back, it's really just a key part of our offense. That allows Andre to really separate, get his routes going. That allows Mike Gesicki to get more open. He's just a missing piece that we're gonna have. And what I want to see from this game is a big Jamar game. I want Jamar to make a statement that he's worth that money he fucking turned down. I want to see Jamar come out and get 14 targets. I want to see Jamar just really prove to the world that he is a top 5 wide receiver again.
Yeah, so I would agree. I want him to be utilized again because it almost seemed like our offense stalled out, and then as soon as Jamar Chase got involved, it felt like we gave an aspect to it um, that helped us. But for me right now, it feels like he's a little emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the contract situation, he's been very vocal and very. I don't want to say he's throwing fits because he's not throwing fits. He's just pissed off.
He's not him.
Yeah, it's because you have to think that negotiation was hard. If a staff member came up to you and be like, "I'm going to give you a contract this offseason," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, let's do that." Well, then it doesn't work very well, and now you have to go play week one without a contract that you said you were going to give me. And then he goes
Yeah.
out there, and then they play shitty, and then they come out to Kansas City week two, and already
And
he
we hate
hates
the Chiefs.
he hates the Chiefs. I mean, it's like every game. It's like when they played in Cincinnati at home. I mean, first game that we ever played them, and we beat them to clinch the AFC North. I mean, he grittied all over that one guy. Um, and then the year after that, T scored a touchdown. It was the
Yep.
all over L'Jarius Sneed. And then the year after that, L'Jarius Sneed and him were throwing punches over in Kansas City. And then this year it was it was a more of the same stuff. It was just pushing and shoving. So he hates the Chiefs. So it's already an emotional week for him. Not in like cry emotional, but like he's like tensed up about this game because he knows he wants to go out there and put it to somebody. And then it comes to again him having to go back without a I'm kind of rambling right now because there's just so
Oh,
much to
you're
talk
good.
about with him, and it's just clashing together. And so he kind of crashed out. So one thing happened, and he just lost it. And Joe came over. I've never seen Joe have to push
Yeah.
Jamar Chase and say, "Shut up, please, just shut up, go." And it caused the Bengals a penalty. And then in the week one, he didn't get off the field because he was so mad that he wasn't getting the ball. So it, it's hard right now for him, and especially without T. It's just so difficult. And honestly, as a fan, I can't diagnose what you even do about that. You can give him a contract, sure, but I don't know. What do you think, Gavin? What do you think can fix this little bit of outrage or whatever you want to say? But Jamar Chase is going through currently.
Win. I think it's as simple as just winning a game. Because the Jamar Chase we know is a happy guy, celebrating, you know, bragging about how he's the best receiver in the league. And right now he's pissed off and we suck. And we don't suck, but you know what I mean. We're 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, honestly, if optimistically, I feel like this game woke him up. I feel like the national attention he's getting for being like this is enough to make him realize what the hell am I doing? I need to get back to where I'm at to put this team in the best position to win. Because if he's learning anything from T. Higgins, is that if he doesn't play to his top, he's not going to get the money he wants from the Bengals. And he said multiple times he wants to spend his career on the Bengals. He wants to be in Cincinnati. If you really want that, you need to be the best version of yourself. And I think this was a wake up call. If not, well, the wake up call will be when he gets 168 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 catches against the Commanders on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm stoked for this. I'm enjoying this thoroughly. Watching him grow as a person. I felt like when he was a rookie, he still ran his mouth a little bit, but I feel like year by year he kind of shows more about himself. Like it's like Joe. It's like kind of like Joe. I mean,
Yeah,
but like for Jamar, I guess it's like how crazy is it that Jamar Chase is just giving out autographs? Like it was like almost every day. It was great.
I know.
So, I mean, obviously, if you are an autograph person, you're like, what the hell is this? It's just him opening up as a
Yeah,
person. It
he's
shows that
becoming more of a professional.
it's showing that he loves Cincinnati. He loves it.
Hmm.
if somebody who doesn't care about the fans, do you think they're going to stop to sign autographs? No, they're going to go into the meeting. They're going to take a shower. They're going to put their street clothes back on. They're going to hop in their car and they're going to go home. They don't care. Actually, Jamar Chase is streaming right now on Twitch. If you after you listen to this episode, please go check that out.
So I want to end things off talking about that final play.
Yeah, let's do it.
So first off, okay, we've been here. We've been here before with Joseph Osai. A penalty that I'm going to say it right now. That was a penalty that cost us the game. Okay. First of all, DeJohn Anthony, that happens. This is your second ever. This is the most important game you've ever played in your life. It is your second ever game in the NFL you've ever played. It happens. We've met. You are a fantastic young man. I say young man. He's older than me, but in relative to NFL players, he's a great young man, and he's going to get over this. And I know he's going to come back stronger. He's been phenomenal from when we watched him play. But yeah, he got there a little. He got there a little too early. He bumped his head. Now, do I think that should have been called? I don't know yet. I've watched it a lot. He was trying to make a fair play for the ball. Both of the receivers in that situation were going for the ball. He happened to bump his head. It can be called a 50-50. I feel like in a situation like that, it is not something you call if it's 31 other teams in the league. Um, but that's just me. I don't feel like a jump ball situation like that is where you call a penalty. But yes, it can be called a pass interference. It was. By definition, it's a 50-50. It's up to the refs. You can't hold it. What I did see was that picture you sent me of the final play.
See,
This is
doing
Trey
for
Hendrickson. It's Trey Hendrickson. This was the tackle. Okay. And that was somehow missed as Patrick Mahomes was dancing around the pocket. And that's what really upsets me from that play. Yeah. That's them. Right.
that's
Wait, you'll be
a
on this.
that's a hold on. This is a
You
really
think you're good. No, we can see it. We can see it.
okay. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what really upsets me from that final play. It sucks, but we were the better team, and we're gonna move on, and we're gonna come back better than ever.
Yeah. Um, the only thing I could say is that I wish Jordan Battle was out there, but
Yeah.
it's been that apparently that's oh my god, I apologize if that was super loud. Um, I um, I think that's been the package for months now that DeJohn Anthony is just going to play that hybrid corner safety because he's a really good ball hawk. Not that Jordan
Mm-hmm.
Battle isn't, but I feel like you want Jordan Battle in on things where you need a sure tackler. And like third downs, maybe third down, third and shorts. You
Yeah.
want a guy that's going to tackle really well. I just feel like that was a situation where you just wanted the guy to go up and get the ball, and I feel like that's what DeJohn Anthony does best, and that's probably why he was out there over Jordan Battle. So for people that say that Jordan Battle should be out there, I was one of them. Probably just different skill sets.
Yeah, and to end it off, I know there's a lot of people upset with Lou sending three, giving Patrick Mahomes that time. I think sending three was the right decision. I think trying to plug all the holes of the field. It's 16 yards. It's a lot of yards to get a first down. Um, I think that was the right decision. It was covered. The play was covered. It just got there a little too early, and that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Yeah, I mean that's just life. You know what I mean? You're gonna call the. I mean, they called the right play. It was perfect play call. Just didn't shake out the way that you want it. It's just the
Yeah,
most Mahomes thing ever that he just throws the ball and it finds a way for somebody to get
he's
open.
won two games, half a second. Uh, he's won two games, one by half an inch, one by half a second. So
It's just life, man. It's just
stuff
life
like.
of a Bengals fan. But
Anything else from you?
that's it for me.
That's it for me too. We will see you guys next. Stay tuned. Look for either not next episode, but maybe the one after or next episode. Depends on scheduling. We're gonna get a game day breakdown from who? From who? From who? Braden?
Tyson Anderson is going to come on the
Yeah,
show and give us a live breakdown.
yeah. We are gonna get some insight from Tyson, our boy, and just stay tuned for that. He's got some interesting takes, I'm sure, of that game. And we'll see you all next time. Who day?
Who day?
Bro, I loved that episode.
That was fun.
That was probably my favorite one
That was the most fluent episode that we had.
for sure, for sure. Because there's just so much to talk about.
Yeah. I feel like that was the easiest one to make just because there was a lot to talk about.
All right, it says stopping here. Let's come on. Let's stop now.
Zim just said the Dolphins should go get Bryce Young. Yeah, fuck that.
Imagine they're not trading. Well, I don't know.
CeeDee Lamb didn't practice today. I don't know if you have him in fantasy or not.
No, I did just make a crazy trade though in fantasy.
What's that?
I traded who did I trade? Hold on. Oh, I traded Jamison Williams
Okay.
because he's been popping off. Jamison Williams, Kenneth Walker, and Austin Eckler for Jamar
Yeah.
and Drake London.
So let me tell you about my trade that I fleeced the shit out of my cousin, and he's a grown ass man too. So I got. Hold on. Damn it. I don't think I can see it. Anyway, I got. Let me pull up the exact trade because it's in my dad's text. Me and my dad's text. Okay, so I got Stafford. I gave him Stafford and Jonathan Taylor, and Jalen Warren because I needed to clear up one more spot on my team for Mahomes, James Cook, and Drake London. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's actually an elite team for real. Damn. That's crazy. Damn. All right, see it.